Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat and welcome to Fil-Am in Focus, a program by the Asian Community Development Council or ACDC, where we shine a light on the critical issues, inspiring stories, and exciting opportunities shaping the Filipino-American experience. Ako po ang inyong host, Ado Vaisolano, and I am so excited that you're joining today for a delicious and meaningful experience. Why? Dahil ngayon ay Abril and it's also the Filipino Food Month. So, it is declared by the Philippine government through the Department of Trade and Industry and the Department of Tourism. And today, this month is a time for us to spotlight not only the rich and diverse flavors of Filipino cuisine, but also the diverse flavors of our culture, our different experiences, our creativity and talent behind every dish that is prepared. And today also is a celebration that reminds us that Filipino food is more than just something that we eat, but also it's about our immigration, our experience, history, and also our creativity. And today we're highlighting not just some of the inspiring dishes that we will experience during the month of April through the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce Greater of Nevada event, which is the Bahay Buko, but also we're celebrating and showcasing the incredible guests that we have. And first, we have Tito Joel, the President of Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Nevada, or FACCGN, and who's been very instrumental in empowering local businesses here in Las Vegas and through also our state. And this year's Filipino Food Fest is one of their major events, and we're also joined by Tita Olive Enriquez. She is the creative director of FACCGN and also the creative force behind many of this month's events and also initiatives for our Filipino community. And last but not the least, we have Chef Rang. She is the owner and chef of Rang's COCINA Moderne, and through a chef, and she's also participating in this month's food crawl, and she brings a modern flair to classic Filipino dishes, and you want to hear what she's be cooking up for this month. So thank you again for being in our podcast. And Chef Rang, let's start with you. Your restaurant is getting a lot of attention in terms of reimagining the Filipino dishes and also offering like bold in a creative way. And your restaurant's philosophy is tradition reimagined and flavor redefined. It's such a powerful statement. So can you walk through us how you approach your reimagining traditional dishes?
Well, I grew up in a mixed heritage family. In our family, we love food, we love eating. You open our cupboard, it's like ingredients from all corners of the world. So at a young age, I learned that you can mix these ingredients, you can mix flavors together, and sometimes it can make magic. And so I grew up with that mindset, and even when I had my own family and started cooking a lot for them, I stuck to that notion of knowing that tradition is great, and that's what we grew up eating and loving, but then stepping outside that is not bad at all, and it can be amazing. At the same time, you can still retain the essence of what the traditional flavors are, but then it creates something new and exciting.
So you create every dish with a Filipino identity in it, but you present it in a way that bridges culture.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. It's a beautiful way to do it, Chef. And turning to you, Tito Joel, as a president of the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, Greater Nevada, you've been a huge advocate for Filipino local businesses and cultural visibility. So why do you think it's such a critical time po to celebrate Filipino and Filipino cuisine in our community?
Yeah, it is. First off, we would like to thank you for having us in your show. This is such a great honor, and to represent the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce during this time, especially when we have this special event, the Filipino Food Month, is something that we would like to amplify in our community. It is very important to celebrate Filipino cuisine in different ways, in many ways, and in different levels. That's exactly what we're doing. We had a media kickoff event yesterday, and one of the things that one of the chefs said was she found it difficult to present authentic Filipino dishes because of the shortage of ingredients. And she's not here. She's an import from, I think from California. So they're coming over. There are 5 chefs that is joining Walbert Castillo in his Historia event tonight, and 3 chefs are from here and 2 are from out of state. And while we may find it easy to just go to the Filipino store and get the ingredients that we want if we're cooking for our family, if you were a chef or a restaurateur, you would like to get those from distributors. And one of the things that we took up with some distributing companies 2 years ago is, how come you don't have a major distributing outlet here in Las Vegas? And they said, you probably don't have the numbers yet. But now, from that time up to now, the culinary industry owned by Filipinos and Filipino Americans really have grown here in Las Vegas. We are in the cusp of being the center of Filipino cuisine. Las Vegas will be after San Francisco. So we're experiencing that growth. So it's very important that we put out our celebration and celebrate it in different levels, not just in fine cuisine, but also in casual and even street food, so that we put it out there for everyone to know, and that way the industry really grows. I mean, we're really up to achieving that. Just an example, last year we barely made it to 10 restaurants participating. But now, we are closing already the number of participants. We have 23. Some of the restaurants we have never known, but they have just existed and they have just opened. So that's really good.
So you're really championing the Filipino local businesses po in here.
That's correct. In fact, one of the goals we want to achieve after the Filipino Food Month would be the establishment of Filipino American Restaurant Association of Nevada.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And why do you think it's important po to establish the Filipino, having a Filipino?
It is important so that there's a continuing awareness of the growth of Filipino cuisine here in Nevada, and also for the industry to grow.
Oh, I love that. And yung ano po sinabi nyo, and it seems like in Filipino restaurants are not just, a business, but rather they serve as like Chef Rang, serve as cultural ambassadors because they tell like stories. And just going back, Chef Rang, you're blending global influences from Spanish to Italian. And what are the challenges that you face when you're doing that and making sure it still stays authentic?
It is very challenging because when you say authentic, it kind of borrows from like strict traditional and strict cultural influences, and any deviation from that will raise eyebrows. For me, authenticity is actually it's a dynamic concept that changes through time and through cultural exchange. Very much like what Filipino cuisine really is. Like, we have a lot of influences from mainly Spanish, American, Japanese, Malay, and Indian. So it's like really blending everything through time and just improving it, making it better and better, and exploring new flavors that can go well into what has been there. For me, it's what I do is actually honoring tradition, but embracing innovation. So I try to conceptualize dishes that would be familiar, but at the same time exciting and new. So I mean, that is what actually, for me, enjoying food really is. Like, some people would like food to bring back memories of how their grandmother made her adobo. It would like a heartwarming memory of Christmases with the whole family. But at the same time, a lot of people are also looking for something exciting, something new.
That's right.
And this is what our culinary landscape currently is. Like, with social media and you know, the internet, everything is like, everything globally is becoming smaller.
That's
We're
right.
being more aware of what is available out there, what flavors could be tried out and experienced. So that's basically what I'm trying to do, is being authentic to my own vision, but still at the same time honoring the flavors that I grew up with and loved.
Yes. I remember what you said before the show, that you still offer the food that you grew up with.
Yes.
So you're still honoring your cultural roots, but then you're pushing cuisine forward.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yeah,
So
like for example, we do have, we still call it bistek.
Yes.
It's undeniably bistek. We just use a really good prime USDA beef that we do not have access, our grandmothers didn't have access to back home.
Yes.
But when you eat it with the bistek sauce, you will know that, you know, it's definitely Filipino. This is definitely the flavor that I grew up with. I came up with a new dish that's not yet on the menu now, but it is a truffled portobello mushroom risotto topped with foie gras, but with a mango adobo sauce.
Oh my God.
It's a mango adobo sauce.
Just listening to it.
Like, you taste it, you know it's risotto, and it has the essence of truffle that is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it has foie gras. But when you taste that foie gras, for me, it brings back the memory of one of my most favorite childhood dishes. It's the adobong chicken liver with gizzard. Yung adobong, yeah, so yung adobong atay ng manok na may balon-balunan. So I would eat it with a lot of rice. So, you know, it's like half of that is flavors that you know
Yes.
and you've been eating for the rest of your life, but it is still something very new and exciting.
The food that you're just describing, it just brings back memories also
Yes.
of my childhood, where my mom would cook chicken adobo, and my kuya would have that yung adobo, yung gizzard po,
Gizzard,
yung
yeah.
kanina. Wow, you're really a storyteller, and you're doing it through food. So that's good po. And Tita Olive, for Bahay Kubo is the name of your event. So I'm curious, so how did you come up with the Bahay Kubo name in the event?
Bahay Buko.
Bahay Buko.
Sorry,
In
Bahay
the-
Buko. Yes, Bahay Kubo. Bahay
Yeah.
Buko. Thank you for
In
correcting.
the last year that we had, the first year that we had it, you know, I was with the chamber for quite some time. I always look forward to having the Filipino first, that Las Vegas be part of the Filipino food movement. And last year, someone from San Francisco contacted me, Pearl Parmalee, and then we got into this discussion about having the Filipino Food Month here with barely like 2 weeks to prepare. But I said, okay, let's get down to it. So we gathered the group, Walbert Castillo, Magnolia Magat, Tita Pearl, and the two of us. We formed a committee, like it was ad hoc because it was on the fly. But then Walbert invented the name Bahay Buko because the emphasis for the mandate from the Department of Trade and Tourism was actually the use of coconut ingredients.
Yeah.
And the idea was to have participating restaurants join us, but it had to be a curated list.
Yeah.
Well, we had 15 restaurants then, and then we had I had the culminating event at the Rosita Lee Avenue in the Uncommons. It was a success, and then we discovered restaurants like Rang's COCINA Moderne, and then the chef Roman Allen of Taverna Costera, Full House, there's Truffles, these restaurants are top-billed restaurants. And in fact, when we would do we had a restaurant crawl. In the first year, we checked out some of the restaurants there in Full House. We went there, it was a long line of customers. And they were scanning the QR code because there was a raffle that would give away a plane ticket to the Philippines. But we're doing it right now. We have 22, 23 restaurants.
23.
And we will do the same thing, restaurant crawl. We scan the QR code and we ask each restaurant to donate $50 gift cards, tiny cards. So it's more practical this way. So okay, my story. How did it begin? It was just like I was looking at Facebook and the other cities were having it. Why can't we have it here? And we give credit to Tita Pearl for encouraging us because she used her experience from San Francisco and big parts of California to have it here. And now we're here. And as usual, being the designer in the group, I had to get down to work, brand it, release on social media, and just do all of the PR and promotional work for this one.
There's really, if I may, there's really a very strong power that is the branding, the brand element of an event or of a product. And we think Bahay Buko really has captured and has given that power to the event. So we discussed yesterday, and it looked like the restaurants are in agreement. Like all the participating restaurants who would initially be part of the Filipino American Restaurant Association of Nevada would also agree to having that sub-brand. Like for instance, Rang's COCINA Moderne, a Bahay Buko restaurant. That's going to be like a tagline. So that would push the brand further and to be in the consciousness of more people and really help grow the industry.
That's amazing. And then as yung buko po, yes, it's just initially started to inject yung mga coconut flavor, but now it has become like a Bahay Buko, which signifies for me like a Filipino warmth and hospitality, because it literally means like in Tagalog, which is in English rather, it's coconut and a house. So you're uplifting our community and then supporting also local businesses. So that's actually ang galing po, ang galing ng
And also,
the way
like,
it developed.
if you remember, like I remember distinctly because like when I was in my elementary grades in the Philippines and I'm not making as good in math as my sisters, for instance. So you use your coconut.
That
was
the first one.
I don't know why I remember that.
See, it brings back memories.
That's
so
right,
that's great for that you're doing that for our Filipino American community.
In fact, in the first event, the first culminating event last year, we had two of our members. They did a jazz rendition of Bahay Bahay Buko.
Bahay Kubo.
Bahay Okay, no, I'm really confused. Bahay Kubo. And, you know, it was,
Yeah.
we showed it on social media easily, like
That was great.
first day, we had 400,000
Views.
hits already. Yeah. And I think this event last year was really widely promoted on social media.
Yeah.
Galing po. So it's not just not a food fest, but rather it's really a celebration of our
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
And then going back to you po, Chef Frank, I know your restaurant is part of the Filipino food crawl. So what can our community kababayans expect po?
Like I said a while ago, they can expect Filipino flavors. They can expect it here, but at the same time, they will find new flavor combinations in one dish. So it's like a combination of different ingredients, different cooking techniques,
Yeah.
but will still bring back memories of what Filipinos would eat back home.
Oh, nice. And so there's a lot of like creativity and then a sense of pride po that you'll be taking. Oh my gosh, nakaka-excite naman. Nakakagutom din. So,
Yeah, just listening to her description of the new dish. I mean,
Oo nga po.
we have
Yes.
to come and try it.
Oo, and taste it po, no? And what do you hope, Chef Frank, for not just Filipinos to take away when they experience some dining at your restaurant?
Mainly, our restaurant would always want them to take home good memories of a great experience that they cannot find anywhere else. We also want them for Filipinos to have this whole experience of, like I said, memories that have come back to them, memories of sharing food with loved ones. For non-Filipinos, they will get to experience what Filipino flavor is. At the same time, it's not something that you can find in your home that your mom always cooks for you. So we want them to take home a good experience and a feeling of going on a journey, a culinary journey, like a journey through food. Because for me, it's just like a good dining experience brings joy, and it creates new memories while bringing back
Yeah.
fond
Oh, yes,
ones.
fond.
And that is the joy of cooking and eating, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if I may add to that, I mean, I think we should have more Chef Franks.
Yes, yes.
Because she's able to elevate the cuisine so that you come in for a good experience. It brings back yung memories. Sabi nga niya, it brings up memories
And
of your,
creates new
your
ones.
childhood.
Yeah.
Create new ones. And then, if you keep on doing that, especially Filipinos who are experiencing their diaspora, the second generation, who may be a little bit detached already, if they keep on doing that, you get them back into the Filipino culture that they should be aware of. I mean, it strengthens their identity.
Yes, I agree po. And then Tita Olive.
You know, in the work that I do, because I do a lot of designs for different culture and ethnicities, one of the things that I realized is food is one of the best non-threatening cultural emissaries. If you want a person to be drawn in your culture, start with food.
Yeah.
And a lot of us do that when we have foreign guests. In fact, when I follow up on some of the news trends, we were at the Winter Fancy Food Show, a great interest in Filipino food is really beginning to happen. And for me, that's a sense of pride. Before, in 1985, I remember doing the first ube packaging, 1985. And I couldn't believe that it's now so mainstream. Bagoong is another thing, because a lot of our, bagoongs disappeared from the shelves, but we couldn't imagine the billion-dollar industry for the Filipinos. So it's things like that. We start with food, but before the food, we go back to agriculture. So
Yeah.
it's always going back to the soil, and the soil is the farmer. So it's all heart in here. So that's
And it's
what
a
I.
circle po.
Yeah, it's a
eh.
full
A full
circle.
circle.
Yeah.
Everything is
Yeah.
connected, and I love how talaga it's not more than taste. Like it's
Yeah.
really bringing back the memories,
That's right.
and then creating new ones as
Yeah.
well, and also pushing boundaries in cooking. So that's amazing po to have that philosophy then, and also the celebration of our events. And Chef Rang, what does it mean for you to be a Filipino chef here in the U.S. and you just moved here in 2021 and you have a restaurant?
I just want to honor my heritage, because like my maternal grandmother was a great cook. That's all she wanted to do in her life was cook every day. And it's one of my fondest memories as a child was eating her food, helping her prepare. And being a Filipino chef here, I just want to share. I want to share it to everybody. I want to share it globally. That, you know, the food that I grew up to love, you can love too. Try it, you know. So
And
I think that's it.
oh, I love that, Chef. And you're not just representing, you know, the generation of cooks or other Filipino chefs, but you're representing your nanay, your tita, your lola in your cuisine. So, oh my God, that's amazing when every time you cook it and
Thank
when you
you.
share it to the whole world and either other communities also. And Tita Olive, you mentioned that earlier when you came up with the Bahay Kubo, you thought of like, I keep on, sorry po, Bahay Buko. Yeah. But okay din naman yung bahay ko. But thank you for correcting me. And then you wanted to create an atmosphere po for our Filipino community members and also in the whole other ethnic communities din po. So how do you, what is that, what do you want to make it of? Like, for example, do you want it to be inclusive and welcoming? How do you do that in such an environment?
Well, I started this basic thing like the feel-good thing, the feel-good element. So I do it visually because my work is very visual, and Bahay Buko has to sound good. But everything is like my impatient nature. Like I would get to work and say, let's do this better. Logo, flyer, poster. And my restless nature has always been cooking up things in my mind. Part of what I do is, when I see something, okay, let's do this better. It's always like that. And my goal is to have the Filipino food elevated. Really, it's been a recurring, and we keep talking about it. When I meet chefs and restaurateurs, designers, filmmakers, farmers, is the whole ecosystem that is included in the food system. Being a designer, I never forget what my Japanese mentor told me, that when I do something, it should mirror the country's soul. And that's been a foundational element in how I do things. And then I realized that I also love to cook, and I cannot cook if my heart is not there. So I know that it's heart. It's all heart. I also go back to the thought of the people, the persons who grew the food, the farmers, because a lot of these farmers right now are, there are a lot of specialty farmers that are helping to grow the food that we will use to cook our food. So it's the entire system. I work with the Cordillera Heritage Rice, the rice farmers from the upland, and I would say that we have one of the most beautiful rice.
Yep.
It's the kind of rice that grows from the sky. So, maganda niya, di ba? There are 7 kinds that we were promoting. And then I find that in each of the history is a beautiful history, tradition, legacy, passion, and then of all, a respect for our ancestors. Rice is a manifestation of that respect. So there are many stories being woven into the food system, and that's the core of why and how I design things.
And I love that that your heart is into what you create, din po. Whether it is not just, I'm sure you aside from you love cooking, you also love to design. So, and you mentioned that food is a very universal way to connect to people, and then the whole ecosystem. And speaking of shaping legacy, and Tito Olive, Tito Joel, puro jumbled words ako ngayon na. Tito Joel, ano po yung legacy nyo na you want to show po, especially for our Filipino community?
I'll look at this always from the point of view of the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, because that's the organization I represent, that I have been president for some time, and it's always small businesses should be supported. When we were new here, we were questioning. We weren't connected with the chamber then yet, but we were questioning how come other minorities, like if you see the Vietnamese community, they always have nail salon. You know that a nail salon is owned by a Vietnamese. When you talk of other businesses, you can tell other communities, like a taco shop, like there's always a Latino restaurant owner. Pero sa mga Pilipino, parang wala kang ma-identify, di ba? Hindi mo ma-identify. Ano bang business ang gusto ng mga Pilipino? Until we realize this is connected with how we lead our lives. Like, a lot of Filipinos are nurses, right? They will work and it pays well. They will retire. When they retire, they don't want to invest in any kind of business. They might engage in some businesses that is, they would distribute supplements and vitamins and parang on the side lang. But the majority of the Filipino Americans really do not want to put out their business out there, like make it an establishment. Parang merong resistance. But things have changed. Things have changed, and therefore the chamber has seen and has been part of that experience changing, and especially the culinary industry has really changed a lot.
Opo, kasi for so long Filipino cuisine is not in the spotlight, and now that it is very in mainstream na po,
Yes, when we
and you
were
have to
here,
support it.
Like 15 or 16 years ago, the only restaurant would be the typical turo-turo style, di ba? And there are people like Magnolia who set up her own restaurant. She wasn't offering anything Filipino then. She said, because she said Filipinos won't come to a restaurant like this. They just always want. But if you keep on offering it, and if you keep on putting it into their minds that there's something else to Filipino cuisine rather than turo-turo style. I mean, we're not putting down turo-turo style because that is a need of the community. But for sure, you can elevate the cuisine in such a way that you cater to other aspects of the market, and then all of you would grow. So,
That's super. And I know we're reaching the top of the hour, and just Chef Rang, let's get back to you. As in a city as diverse as Las Vegas, so what do you want to contribute also in the evolving culinary landscape?
I think that is one of the reasons why I'm trying to push the boundaries, because there's nothing wrong with doing what everyone else has been doing before, but we do need to always try to explore what else can be done, what else is there, what else can I try, what else can I experiment with. And for me, it's all about new experiences too. So I think there is like a sort of a wall that we have to break down between tradition when it comes to the culinary landscape, because there's so much more to explore and so much more that we can go on adventures with when it comes to food.
Yeah.
So more on like new experiences, go on adventure, especially with Filipino cuisine. And as we wrap up, Tito Joel and Tito Olive, do you have any final thoughts
So
for our
I'll do a fast talk on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we'd like to invite you to the Filipino food restaurant crawl. It's going to start on April 15 until the 28th, and we have 22 or 23 restaurant participating. Now we have a list of these participating restaurants I can show here, and you go to any of these restaurants. They're all Filipino or Filipino-owned restaurants. Some of them do not actually do Filipino food, but they're Filipino-owned, so we expect you to support them. What you need to do is to scan the QR code. It leads to a form where you enter your name and email, and if you do 3 restaurants, you are entitled to win, charan, $50 gift card from the designated restaurant that your name is drawn to. And then on April 29, we're doing a special. This is the first event after the historic designation of Filipino town in the area in Maryland Parkway. So we call this Tindahan. And in Tindahan, I called it Halo-halong kwento sa Tindahan. It has a presentation by one of the major sponsors, Ayala Land, and they're sponsoring the Halo-halo Kwentuhan. And then we have
A book
launch. This is the Women of Impact, which contains the story and memoirs of 22 distinguished women, and they will be there to do book signing.
Yeah.
And then the third event is also the raffle of the winning raffle prizes.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Oh, thank you po. Madaming salamat. Madaming exciting events na ngayong buwan ng April. Opo, April. So, sa ating mga viewers and listeners, or explore and try something new.
Yes.
Katulad ng sabi ni Chef Rang, and also support our Filipino local businesses, mga restaurants. Kain po tayo doon. And most of all, let's celebrate and be proud of who we are as Filipinos. And again, to our viewers and listeners, maraming salamat po for tuning to Fil-Am in Focus, brought to you by the Asian Community Development Council, or ACDC. For more information about ACDC, please visit our website at acdcnb.org. And also be sure to check out Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Nevada, a series of events, yung isang kusina, Filipino chefs collaboration, tonight po at Winnie's, at Ethos, and opo, nandun din po kayo?
No.
Sa Historia. Opo. And then, Las Vegas Filipino Food Crawl, ayun yung nagpa-participate si Chef Frank, as well as Tindahan on April 29. So, support po your local Filipino restaurants and celebrate po all the flavors that brings us all together. So, abangan po ang aming susunod na episode. Hanggat sa muli, at maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you po. Kahit puro jambos yung